like always, I'm very excited to have Michael Thorne with us today. I'm excited for today's topic. We're going to be talking about mastering the video CMA. And Michael Thorne's joining us from British Columbia, Canada. I'm here in Denver, Colorado today. So this is an international webinar. Thanks for joining us, Michael, again. Thanks for being generous with your time.
No problem.
Always appreciate having you on. So for those that don't know, Michael Thorne has, if you haven't heard yet, likes to talk about video and does a lot of really interesting and creative things with video. And so we love having him on to talk about what he's doing with video. You might see him with the BombBomb presentations. You might have seen him at R4. He does a lot of podcasts with Remax. He's got his own kind of video training company, his own real estate company. And he's just a prolific content creator, gracious with his time and with his content and with his knowledge. So thank you so much for being here, Michael.
Thanks, Dale. I appreciate it. It's always fun hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, and we got people from Maine, from Virginia, Central Texas, North Carolina, Colorado Springs. Brad, I live in Black Forest, Colorado, so I'm actually commuted up to do this webinar.
This is my Fort Collins, Colorado t-shirt for you guys. I thought I'd wear a Colorado t-shirt for you guys today.
Love it. Love it. My sister lives in Fort Collins. Let's see, Massachusetts. Oh, another Denver, Colorado. Madlam Real Estate. Welcome, Jeff. We love Madlam Real Estate. Florida.
Jake Russell from Vernon, BC, which is one of my very favorite spots. Vernon's ridiculously awesome. Up in the Okanagan.
Where's Vernon?
Just north of Kelowna. Kelowna, right on the lake. If that's where Remax head office Western is, and then Vernon is the next spot further up the highway. Awesome.
Dennis from Chicago. John from Parkland, Florida. Johnson Michael from Fremont, California. I grew up near there. That's where my orthodontist was. Let's see, Port Charlotte, Florida, New Jersey, Tennessee, man, all over the place. So this is a good crowd. I'm not going to keep reading because we have tons of people just flooding here, but a couple people from Ontario, looks like 3 different people from Ontario, Canada, from Ottawa, Virginia, Idaho. Welcome everybody. So today, here's what we're going to be covering. We've got a full presentation here today, so we better get started. So we're going to be talking about Michael's method for CMAs.
Jimmy Burgess's method adopted by Michael Thorne.
Okay.
Just want to make that very clear.
Jimmy Burgess's method adopted and perfected by Michael Thorne. I don't know Jimmy, so I'm just going to say you do it better. Sorry, Jimmy. I don't really know. I'm sure you're great. So common mistakes to avoid. We're going to talk about a checklist, and we're actually building a checklist that will be usable in Realvolve, and we're going to email that out after. And that'll help us create the perfect video CMA every single time. We're going to talk about how to present unsolicited video CMAs that people actually want to get. So this ties in with some of the previous topics that we've covered on how to make sure that people want to receive your next communication and setting them up for anticipation of your next follow-up rather than seeing it as spammy and not welcome. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what throughout we're going to be talking about the technologies that Michael uses to help automate the process. So Michael, how many people do you feel like, just based on your experience, you do a lot of speaking, you do webinars, podcasts, you talk to a lot of real estate agents all the time across North America. How many people are doing video CMAs, do you feel like?
I think I probably know most.
Popular thing?
I think, as it becomes more popular, it's like anything. When something has such great success and it's really not dependent on the market or the technology, it's the system, it's the actual act that works. So it's easily duplicatable. Like, this is a Jimmy Burgess thing. It was, I was aware of it. I talked to Alicia Baruti at BombBomb about it. Actually, we did a podcast just on this topic. But I did something called 30 and 30, which was 30 videos in 30 days of our favorite 30 places in our community back in 2012. And that's been replicated throughout the real estate industry. It's been done all over North America, all over Europe. And it's one of the little badges of honor that I get where someone takes it and does it. But it has like 100% success rate. It works. And it's not dependent on the personality, the equipment, the marketplace, your price point. So when things like this just work, and the people that are doing unsolicited CMAs in this fashion, and I'm sure it will evolve and someone else will put a new wrinkle in it and that will work. When it just works, there will be mass adoption of it. It's just an activity that works. And so I foresee, as we talk about it more, as you know, Bomb is talking about the Jimmy Burgess method. I know that Jimmy Mackin over at Curator talks about it now and then too as well. As more and more people hear about it, you know, it will gain definitely in pop. I'm just going to answer the poll question here because yes, I do them. You know, as it becomes more and more popular and it works, it'll be adopted more and more. And here's the thing about where we are as an industry, and we talked about this, Dale, a number of times. I think we've talked in webinars and offline. This industry, the people and the collaboration of this industry has really increased dramatically in the past 5-10 years. I've been at this for 26 years. When I first got in this business, it was very, let's keep it as a secret. Now I can reach out to someone like Jimmy Burgess and say, hey, I hear you doing these unsolicited CMAs. What's working for you? How are you doing it? People are willing to share. And that's what I'm doing. It works for me. And I'm going to pass it on to the next person, the next person, the next person. I think it's important to give credit to with the person that comes up with the idea. But we're in an industry now where if you see someone doing something very unique and it's successful, ask them about it. Pick up the phone, send them an email. Like, what are you doing? How's it doing? Or, you know, how's it working? And that's exactly what we're doing today, Dale. We're going to share with other people what's working for us that we've seen a difference. And the other thing I have, and a lot of agents, if you've been at this for a while and you do something and you get dramatically different results than previous activities, it's easy to put it into your arsenal. But when you're just getting started and you don't know how much more successful it is from an activity you haven't taken on, sometimes it's hard to measure where you should be spending your time. If there's any veteran agents that do something like this and see the value of it more than what they were doing somewhere else, then you can add it. And it's always like, there's a difference between putting it and in addition to what you're doing or instead of another activity. I don't have time to do video CMAs, unsolicited CMAs. Well, if it's more productive than something else that you're doing, you don't have to do it on top of that. You can do it instead of that. And I think we need to start editing our businesses a little bit more because we just keep adding new things as they come along and we don't give up on the things that aren't, you know, the ROI isn't as strong. So I think we have to continually monitor what we're doing and make adjustments as we go.
Yeah, I think it was Stephen R. Covey that said it's easy to say no to things when you have a burning yes. And that's the idea that you're presenting here is if you have something that's going to work really well that you want to say yes to, maybe there is something else that you've got to say no to that's just a little bit less effective, and that's fine. So looks like 60% of the attendees here today are sending CMAs, 40% are not, just for what it's worth. So that's great. So those that are doing it, we're going to talk about some things you could change. Those that are not doing it, hopefully you're inspired to pick this up and say no to something else. Bill has a question before we move on. Did you say unsolicited CMAs?
Yeah, I think that's really the whole point of this. This isn't, when you're doing a CMA, you're at the point of you've already prospected, you've already generated the opportunity, you're now at the table and you're ready to put that prospect on the market or turn it into actual business. What we're doing is much different. What we're doing is using CMAs as a prospecting tool, not necessarily prospecting to people we don't know, but prospecting to the people in our sphere of influence, in our past clients, in our database. And so this is, and it's due to the technology that allows us to really like make this magical. The serendipity of this is just so apparent when you get into it. This is much more of a prospecting tool that puts digital indicators out into the world that will ring, those indicators will ring at when that person is ready to actually put their house on the market. So you're putting out all these little warning bells all over your sphere of influence and your past clients that might ring 6 months from now, a year from now, a year and a half from now. And when that bell rings, then you know today you should be spending your time on this particular client. And that's one of the beautiful things. In our database, and we'll talk about our databases, there are people that intend to move in the next 6 to 12 months that really would like to have our attention. There's people in our database that have no intention of moving for 5 years, that don't need or want our constant attention. When you can identify the difference between the people that only need you to check in every once in a while and appreciate that you don't hound them versus the people that say, please stay on top of me, this for me, this is really important this year and I need as much guidance and assistance as possible. When you're able to have indicators tell you where to spend your hours, your clients are more happy, you're more efficient with your time, your money, your resources, your efforts, and then, business becomes magical. And that's the whole point of what we're trying to achieve, is to put those indicators out there so we know today we should be doing this.
And I think it's important to note, I don't know if you were going to get to this, but just be aware that I'm getting a CMA from Zillow basically twice a month. I get a home valuation report and I get a market report from Zillow automatically, right? So as a consumer, Zillow is sending me that information. We've got to go above and beyond if we want to make sure that we're grabbing their attention, give them something more valuable than what they're already getting, not just some automated tool that's dripping out people. But what you're talking about doing here is a little bit above and beyond, and Zillow's not going to do it. They're not going to put in this effort that's going to help us stand out. I'm not necessarily going to Zillow every month and saying, all right, the consumers aren't going to Zillow every month and looking things up, but be aware that there are companies like Zillow and others that are sending your clients this kind of information twice a month, 3 times a month sometimes.
Yeah. I have to walk off camera for 1 second because I forgot to grab something that's important to the process. Okay. There we go.
The suspense is killing me.
No. We'll get to it. I just saw it over there and I wasn't organized. I didn't have my coffee ready. So there we go.
So where should we go from here? So there's another question. What do you mean by sending out CMAs?
Yeah, so we're sending them digitally along with personalized video towards them. I mean, that's the whole point of it. We're sending them out through BombBomb is how we're doing it. Because of the triggers, the 3 sets of triggers that are built in within that system that will alert you to now's the time to call them because they want to sell now. So what you're doing is you're sending out a CMA update to a sphere of influence or a past client when it's right for you as an agent. Today, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to send these 3 clients an unsolicited CMA. You're sending them on your schedule. What's going to happen is in the future, when it's right for that client to need to have that information put in front of them, they will then trigger 3 sets of indicators that now's the time that they're interested in that information. So now's the time you should be following up because they're either thinking about selling their home or they're about to refer you to somebody else. And that's sort of that magic that goes along with it. So when we do things on our own time, door knocking or anything like that, it's convenient for us. The idea is to make it convenient for us, but also convenient for the person receiving it so that they're able to digest it and receive that information at the right time. And then us as the people sending out that information to be alerted to the fact that they're now consuming it at the right time. And that's sort of, there you go. That's the magic of it all.
So, how often are you sending out video CMAs versus just a traditional CMA?
Well, our traditional CMAs in a non-COVID world always are more detailed, always happen in a 2-stage CMA for our clients. When our clients are ready to put it on the market, we do a 15-minute walkthrough of the property. All of our clients, whether they've sold 4 houses with us or never worked with us, they all require a sit-down listing presentation. Jordan, Trish, and I, my amazing business partners, that's what we do, is because the industry changes. There's new regulations. We want to sit down. We want to have that belly to belly communication. We want to be able to identify those whys are you selling, those pain points, those expectations, to have the ice cream conversation I think we've talked about in the past. And so those are much different CMAs than a quick CMA out to a past client. And we're building them into our Realvolve workflows. But the ideal will be that every client will receive 2 a year, and then more detailed stuff on particular anniversaries, on the mortgage anniversary, right? If people sit down with a mortgage broker, and I think it's in the States too, but here in Canada, we have an amortization period, 25 years, 30 years, and then you have terms. So you're going to finance your house over 25 years, but this particular agreement with a bank lasts 4 years, right? That term. And there's a reason why that seller, that homeowner chose that term, maybe because they're foreseeing, having another kid and moving. So if we know that it's a 4-year term, at the 3-year and 6-month mark, we want to build into our workflows that we follow up then, because their term's coming up, and then we can go detail there too as well. So that's what we're working on right now, building out those workflows. So 2 a year, and then other special times as they go, depending on anniversaries and mortgage renewals and that sort of stuff.
Love it. So let's talk about your process.
Sure.
Let's get into some of the more nitty gritty of your process.
Yeah.
You talked about already, you have some triggers that say, hey, this is, send these 3. What is your schedule, and how are you deciding which people to send it out to? You said most of your clients are getting 2 a year unsolicited. Tell me a little bit about how that process works for you in the sorting and in the alerts.
Yeah. So when we started, this was really, started in, I had a conversation at Remax R4. We had Alicia Baruti on the 10 for R4 podcast. We talked about unsolicited CMAs. Jesse and I were there going, oh man, this just makes so much sense. We'd sort of heard about it. And then COVID came along, and it was like one of those really great opportunities in front of the computer at home with your PJs on the bottom half and a T-shirt on the top half to sit down and put them out. And as we started putting them out and started seeing those triggers, and I know there's a lot of questions, and we will show you exactly how I do it, and I'll show you the CMA, we'll show you everything like that. As we started seeing those triggers happen, and then being able to indicate a year later, oh, that's from that CMA that we sent out there, and this client's from that CMA we sent out here, and that client's from this CMA we sent out here, and able to see that, you can do more and more. So the idea was to send out 1 per day, sort of a thing, but that would be 2, half an hour sessions a week, 3 here and 4 there. And then now that we're sitting back and we're working with Jana, who's amazing at Realvolve, building out our workflows, we've now put that on pause to build out the workflows so that we know this person now has the following up here. These people haven't got a single one yet. We'll build that in as we've got 26 years of past clients. And so we'll be able to go through that. So that's really where we are now. The idea would be to take all your database, divide them amongst the main person. So each one of us, so Jordan, Trish, and I are business partners, but we all have our own clients inside the business, the person we were closest to. So the people that really work with me and connect with me want me to give them their unsolicited CMA because they're excited to see me. People are excited to see Jordan. People are excited to see Trish. So taking that database and breaking it up, to, let's say if we got 450 past clients, that's 125 people each, times that by 2, it's only 250 CMAs a year. That's 1 a day or 5 a day. 5 a week. That's really easy and manageable to do. And that's where that magical workflow of Realvolve will come into, especially the non-linear stuff. We'll be able to have those indications start to build out other stuff as we go. And, it's just exciting what can transpire. So that's the goal, is to have everyone to get 2 a year. But we've already seen, we can all go back to the deals that we've done this spring and go, oh, that one was a CMA. Oh, that one was a trigger. So, I'll show you a real example with address and name. I'll tell you the story about it, how that went out. And, when during the webinar. Yeah.
So if I heard you right, you've got some new workflows that you're going to be running in Realvolve, in our CRM, that are going to help you guys be prompted to send those out. And I'm assuming you're going to start those on some sort of a staggered schedule.
Yes.
But I heard a couple of things you say there, and I'm just reading between the lines, probably on like home purchase anniversaries and things like that, where Realvolve can trigger, okay, this person bought 2 years ago on this day. That's probably one of those times that they're going to be getting that unsolicited CMA, correct?
Yeah, we should be reaching out and saying, hey, congratulations, this will be 2 years anyway. And while we're here, here's some information, some more value. I mean, I think there's that mix of realtors really want a reason to talk to their clients. And then sometimes we set out cookie recipes, which is fine, but it's not on the topic and the expertise that we do every single day. And I'm a huge community advocate. I go and show you the local businesses. Does that connect to real estate? Yeah, it kind of does, being the cheerleader of your community. But when you can pop up in front of someone and say, here's some value on what I'm an expert on, it just reinforces what you do without you having to say it and adding more value on something that you already do. So that's the sort of that idea.
Cool. So let's get more into that process. Let's get into the show and tell portion.
Sure. So yeah, go ahead. I don't know if you just want me to go, Dale, or you had a question there.
No, go for it.
Okay.
I'm excited to see.
So we build our CMAs inside Cloud CMA, and anyone can build it any way you want. Actually, let me just go here. So this is what our CMAs look like. And this is a CMA. I'll show you right here, and this is a cool another feature we'll get into too as well. But this was set April.
Sorry, 1 second, Michael. Yeah. 1 second. Sorry. I just want to make something clear real quick, guys. If you, it depends on what platform you're watching this on. If you're on your phone, your iPad, or your computer, but you should be able to make Michael's screen full screen. You can either pin him so that you see him full screen while he's sharing here. Or you can change the view there to speaker versus gallery versus full screen. So play around with those settings a little bit so you can see this full screen. Sorry, Michael.
No, Dale, I just want to make sure. I know it's reversed for me on Zoom, but you guys are seeing it the right way around, right? You guys are seeing the CMA the right way?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So like I said, this was sent out April 22nd, 2020. So in the spring of last year. And this is how we build them out. This is just in Cloud CMA. And it's a very simple CMA. We've got it done. So it's a template. So when we drop in the information, it just builds it out for our unsolicited CMAs. We've got a template built, and it's got all the listings and all the details of all the comparables. And so what we do is we record them inside BombBomb in our Gmail account. We're going to move that. We can do that in Realvolve too as well, right? Integrated right into it. But right in our Gmail account, we can do a screen recording that I'm going to trick using the magic of my digital stuff back here to recreate it, because I'm on a webinar with Dale right now, so I can't do it with this laptop, but I'm going to do it with this laptop. You can do a screen recording right inside BombBomb in your Gmail or in Realvolve. And one of the keys is, and this is when I went to go get, this says Chrome versus Timber. We're recording all of our kids' baseball games right now and sending them out. And so I wrote Chrome versus Timber to indicate, but I would write, in this case, this was for Karen and Peter, and I'd write on the whiteboard, Karen and Peter, and I'd hold it up as the email started, and BombBomb makes a 3-second GIF of the first 3 seconds. It runs, and you will have 100% open rate if they see their favorite realtor holding up a sign that says their name, meaning this isn't for anyone else but you. It has 100% success rate. And so it will open up and record just me on camera, just like this. And I'll say, hey, Karen and Peter, I hope things are going well with you. It's been a while since we chatted. Hopefully the family are healthy and safe in these strange times we're living in, right? This was last spring. The market continues to change, and a lot of people are asking us questions about how is the market, how's COVID affecting the market, and so on and so forth. So here is a just quick evaluation on your property. I've also going to include the PDF so you guys can look at it in the future. But here we go. Let's take a look at your CMA. And then one button, I can switch to this view that has their CMA on the screen along with myself. And I very quickly, and one of our business coach, and manager at our office always wants me to get these down shorter and shorter and shorter. He says they should be 2 minutes long. And I always want to talk a little bit longer. Mine are more like 5 minutes long. But I can go through the CMA and say, okay, and this is our initial CMA when we're doing it, is very, very simple. In this case, this is a townhouse complex. And all we did was compare, and you can see here, just to the properties that are in the complex. I didn't go looking, around the neighborhood and find. The first one out is just a very simple 10,000 foot view of what's happening in the market for them right now. So keep it super simple. It shouldn't be ultra detailed. First of all, it makes it quicker, but all you're wanting to do is to have those triggers put out there for you for the future, right? That's all you're trying to do. And so I'll go through and say, right now, here's the most recent sales. You can see that they're, and I can pop open this, and I'm normally looking into the camera, but I'm looking down to my other Mac. They're all 3 baths, they're all 3 bedrooms, and they roughly have the same square footage of you. And here's their sale prices. They're all sort of in that, 225, or sorry, that 525 to 550 price range. And we'll go through, and here's the sale prices, and then you'll come down to this part right here, which is a great. Right now, the properties on the market are selling for 99% of the list price with an average of 21 days on the market. And then I'll say something like down below are all the details of all the comparables, including the photos that you can go and take a look at anytime. And then I'll switch back to the main camera and I'll say, so that's attached down below. Take a look at it. If you've got any questions about the market, anything I could do, or anyone that we can help, let us know. Once again, hopefully you guys are doing well. And I hope Morgan, which is their son, I heard he's doing great. So we'll talk to you guys soon. And then the recording will end. It will automatically upload that. And then I send the attachment. Now, I'm going to pop this open. I'm going to actually put myself picture. So this is Gmail, and I've got BombBomb installed here. When I open up and I compose a new email, this is where I would press the recording, and it would just open up, and I would do a screen recording. Like I said, you can do this right inside Realvolve. You can do a screen recording. It might ask me to approve it, but this is where I would do. I don't know why it's like that. This is where I would click right here to do a screen record, and it would do just what I just showed you. But what's really cool about this is, I closed it down, is snippets. So snippets are pre-written text, pre-written links, pre-written images, pre-written, all that sort of stuff ready to go. And so once I've recorded that video, I can go down here, open up snippets, choose Unsolicited CMA, press add, and it automatically fills out. Property address will be the subject line. That's going to get them to open it. Like our first and foremost, names, put in Karen and Peter's name there. And I go through, we put links to Unboxed, all that sort of stuff. And then all I have to do is click the attachment and it's gone. The video's in there, attachments in there, and it's off to them. Now, like I said, there are 3 sets of indicators, triggers that happen when you send a BombBomb. Number 1, they opened it. Great. And now most cases, you're going to get that later that day. They're going to get an opened it. Great. I just sent you the information. They'll click. You'll get a notification when they watch the video. Awesome. Most importantly, you'll get an indication when they click that link to their CMA. So that usually happens that day. Usually the first 2 happen that day, maybe not the clicking of the link, but the opening and the watching of the video, because they can't help themselves. It's their favorite realtor talking to them. But what's key, and where I said the all magic is, when they're sitting having a glass of wine in October, 6 months later, and they're talking about, yeah, you know what? It is time to move. What did Michael say our value of the property was, or what did he do? And it gives you an indication that they've opened up that at any time other than that first week. That's when you call them back. It happens all the time. When I get a notification, and I actually was talking to Jacob about it, is like, I need to start putting in the title a code at the end of the subject line of the email, so I know when the email was sent, like 0721, which would be July of 2021, so that I knew how old that CMA is. The older, the better, because no one's going back into their Gmail account or their email and clicking on any email that wasn't sent to them that week without intention. They're going back with intention. And that's exactly what happened with Karen and Peter in this case, is that in March, they clicked the email that I sent back in April, March of 2021, they sent the email. And so they clicked on it. And so later that night, I called Karen. Hey, Karen, it's Michael. I sent you a CMA a while ago, just as we're getting into COVID, to give you an evaluation of your property. The market's really changed a whole lot between now and then. Would you like me to send you a new one to update you on what's happening right now? They're like, would we? We were talking last night about it's now time to put the house on the market because Peter's 3 months away from retirement and we're going to move to our retirement property in Campbell River on the island. This is not a hypothetical. These are real people with a real scenario. And I said, really? Oh, that's great. Well, you know what? I'll fire you off one later today, an updated CMA of where we are. And then let's get together and sit down and go through it line by line. So they're the ones that told me to pick up the phone and call them because they were ready to sell. And so when we go back, and I'll show you exactly what happened. Oh, let's close this down. So then in this evaluation, no. Sorry, guys. It's very, very different now. If we go now, we go to our second evaluation, and I'll show you why it's different. Number one, I now took the time to go and put a great photograph of their property on it, right? Make that phone call, hustle down there, get a good photo of the property. I think that makes a big deal, especially to our great past clients. So we got a great photo, and you'll see now this is March 8th, 2021. So you can see where it is different. Now, in this particular CMA, and same thing, I would be doing this evaluation. Hey, thanks for the call. Here's the updated one. When do you want us to come by and do the evaluation? And now you can see that this is a much more detailed, taking time to look at the comparables in the marketplace that are going to affect it. More than just that particular unit, more than just that little tiny subdivision, actually doing an evaluation with more effort and more concentration and more time to make sure we get a really accurate depiction. And the last time we sent them the CMA, it was 99% of list price, 21 days in the market. So now you can come back and you say, you know what? Look at where we are now. It's 108% of the list price, and we're down to 17 days on the market. Now is a great time, especially if you're cashing out like they were cashing out, moving to the retirement home. It didn't matter if they were buying and selling in the same market. They weren't buying, they were just selling, and they want to sell at the peak. You know what? Here we go. We're at the peak, at the time of the market. Let's get it on. And that was March. They're already sold. They've already completed. They've already moved. They're gone. They're in their new place. They're at the retirement home in Campbell River. But that was 100%. It happens all the time where that trigger, where they go back and open that CMA, they're either opening it up to get your email address, phone number, and all that information to send to a friend as a referral, or they're thinking about selling. It's those two things. It doesn't happen by accident. And so I know today I need to follow up with this client because they are consciously making a trigger that they're ready to sell their property. And so that's really where it comes down to. And then it goes back to the evaluation, Dale, like we do with all our clients, going to their house, sitting at the table, going through the listing presentation. But this is a much more of a prospecting than doing a CMA in order to determine the list price to sign the contract. So it's a very different strategy.
Yeah, so you're just planting seeds, right? Your whole entire database is the field. You're planting these seeds. If it's time to harvest in 3, 4, 5, 6 months, 2 years down the road, you get that alert. They opened it, they clicked it, and you are going to call them immediately.
Absolutely. And we're still in a world, Dale, where we know he must have known that I opened it up, but we're still in a serendipitous world where people are like, we were just talking about you. That's crazy. There is something magical when what you want is presented to you at the right time. There's something, it's fate. This idea, and whatever you want to say to it, Are we manipulating? No, that's the way we're showing up at the right time. But people will take that on with, this guy just always at the right time. This guy's always just shows up when we need him. That's magical. And they will find that part of the experience. And it is part of the experience. It is magical. When you are selling your services to someone who wants it, you're adding value. When you're trying to sell your services to someone who doesn't want it, you're hurting your brand. You know what I mean? And so that it's just absolutely magical to have all those seeds out there, and the phone will ring, or the buzzer will go, your text message will go off on the right person at the right time. So today I'm not like, I wonder where I should spend my time. I hope this pans out. Listen, I would door knock all day long if you said, if you door knock those 2 houses, one of them is going to list with you today. Okay. That's pretty easy. That's what this is. This is, call this person because they've put out an indicator that they're absolutely thinking about you right now. So it just makes it all magical. And so we want to have, 2 triggers times 3 triggers each for each of our clients out there every year. And then add more to that. You can, this could be someone who sent you, you could do these for, we limited dual agencies illegal in our marketplace now. So we, open houses have changed the same. But if you had someone come through your open house and they were looking at a certain price, you could say, okay, you came through my open house and you looked at this type of home. Here's what else is happening in the marketplace. These are where prices are going. This is how competitive it is. Put that evaluation out there. That's another trigger that you could put out there. I mean, there's so many things you can do with these triggers. We just really are trying to we've always loved on our past clients. Jordan, Trish, and I have always loved on our past clients, but we really want to take that to like love on our past clients. And that's what we're doing. That's the whole purpose of Realvolve, is to put these systems in place in so many different ways. Birthdays, anniversaries, mortgage renewals, just to always be in front of them at the right time, to let them know that we love on them as much as we do. And so that's the whole point of this process.
So Victoria asked, would you send these the video CMAs to new seller requests for a CMA?
No, if it was a seller request for a CMA, that's the trigger. They're already at the trigger point. Okay, so if we take Victoria's question and we reverse engineer it, I am putting out a CMA when it's convenient for me. And when they request a CMA, I'm sitting at their table to list their property. If a seller called me up and said, Michael, can I have an evaluation done on your house? I'd be like, great, Victoria. As you know, we do a 2-step evaluation. Myself and Jordan, or Jordan and Trish, or myself and Trish, always 2 of us are going to come and do a 15-minute walkthrough of your property. And just to update us room by room of where we are. Then we're going to come back. We're going to do the evaluation, and we'd love to come sit down with you guys either Tuesday or Wednesday evening around 6:30, maybe after dinner, but for about an hour and a half. Which one would work for you? That's a completely different process, because if they're calling you, they've already rang that bell. This is about putting bells out there to be rung. So yeah, if a seller calls me up and says, give me an evaluation. Now, if we're living in a COVID world, that's different. But I always want to be belly to belly with my client, even as technology, as digital as we are, and we are absolutely paperless and have been for 15 years. They will never sign a piece of paper, but that doesn't mean I'm not at the kitchen table with them. It doesn't mean that I'm not face to face with them. So yeah, that's, if someone says do an evaluation for us, we're at their house.
Yeah. So the number one goal is get an appointment. But obviously the next best thing would be the video CMA. So if you've got a lead source that you've got a bunch of leads coming in and you can't get to people, or they don't want to meet you face to face, yeah, maybe video CMA is the next best thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. On that point, Dale, absolutely. Because what you're doing then is you are saying, let's put a bell in your inbox that when you are ready for it, you will ring that bell, or you've got a better chance at ringing that bell. Because here's the thing is, your competition isn't putting those bells in their inbox. They're not. Now, they don't know it's a bell. They don't know it's a warning, but it's so compelling. The video, the CMA, the way you're delivering it is so high touch and so good communication that your competition is not going to do that. And here's what I know about real estate. If all things being equal between 2 agents, but one of the agents, they've seen them speak, they've heard their voice, and they've seen their mannerisms. They will connect to that person, even if the other person is more of a fit for them, because they don't know. The unknown of how they talk, how they communicate is an unknown. They'll always go with the known. So if you're able to communicate, hey, Tom and Mary, it's Michael. If you're able to say that, and all things being equal, they will come to you. What we strive to do as a team is to be not all things equal and to give them that reason to communicate with us. I mean, what we do is not all things equal. We try to go above and beyond for our clients in the way we market our homes. So yes, put those triggers out there, give them the value. And here's what you're doing. I believe we have a need as human beings to level the score in social equity. We have great service at a restaurant. We feel the need to tip more so I can sleep at night. When someone's giving you great value, we're not asking them for anything. We're giving them value. We're saying, here's some information you might find valuable. Here's for you. And by the way, down at the bottom of that email, it says, here's a link to our seller's course, the real estate in box, which we talked about, Dale, before. Add more value, right. Add more value, give them more value. And so when they're looking for someone to help them to sell their home, if you're the person they know, like, and trust the most, they will call you. That's it. That's all you have to do is be the person they know, like, trust the most in any field: cars, window replacement, doors, lawn mowing, whatever it is. If you're the person someone trusts the most, they will use your services. It's that easy.
And it's the law of reciprocity, right? So when you do something a little bit above and beyond, people feel like they need to do something back, and they're just going to pay more attention to you. So a couple of questions coming in about how you're monitoring these notifications. So how many notifications for these CMAs do you feel like you're getting at this point? And how are you keeping track of those and making sure to respond?
Listen, when someone goes back and opens up a past CMA, there is no annoyance on the amount that would come in. So it's pretty easy. So in the subject line on your notification that comes in via BombBomb, let's see if I got anybody right now. I just had one right there. BombBomb top trigger. Just had one just now right there. It says to me the video, this in the particular case, it said the email address watched and the name of the video. And the name of the video for me is always the name of the email address. So CMA and then the address of the property, or open CMA. So I can tell the difference between just a BombBomb communication because it tells me in the notification that comes to my cell phone, just like that, which one it was and what it was. And that's what I mean, putting in the subject line, maybe the date. I've just got this memory where I know that property, I know the homeowner, I know I sent it 3 months ago. I rely on that a lot. It's not the smartest business, and therefore that's why Realvolve exists, to remind me of those things. But we get them as much as we can. I mean, that's the whole point of it. So it's letting you know, here's a person you should reach out today that's going to list the property or needs your help or is about to refer you. So as many as I can get. There's no harm. There's no issue of managing them. We'll find a way.
And do you have, so by the way, I mean, in BombBomb, you can basically just check a box to say you want to be notified. As you send in Gmail or whatever, you just say turn tracking on, and it will track. For us, it's the open, the watch, and the click link, the link click, and those are the ones I want. So when you do get those notifications, you call them back as quick as you can. Do you have a script?
Yeah. I mean, it's very, very simple. It's great. It's like, hey, Peter and Karen, I sent you an email, or I sent you an evaluation back in April to give you an evaluation of your property. The market continues to change right now. Would you like me to update it and send you a new one? That's all you have to do. And they'll say, and it's always the same words. Funny enough, Michael, it's always the same words. Funny enough. And if they go, no, we're good right now. Okay, great. If there's anything I can do for you in the real estate world right now, actually, we were just about to refer you to so-and-so. Oh, great. Well, tell me about that. So it's just easy. Hey, I sent you this evaluation. would you like me to, the market continues to change, or would you like to have, it's been a little while, would you like me to update and send you a new one? Can I give you more value? Can I do more for you? Can I provide my service as an expertise in this business, in this marketplace? And that's the easiest. We found that to just be magical to pick up the phone and just say, and I always wait 45 minutes or an hour. I don't call it immediately. Trigger call. That's a little weird, but I try to make it serendipitous. 47 minutes I find is the best deal.
Got it. So Jeff has a question, and maybe I'll rephrase it a little bit. Do you do anything else on the home valuations or CMA? So are they getting something about their property once a month? Or is this really, in terms of the property and the CMA, the only thing they're getting from you, so twice a year?
So specific content to their property, this is what they're getting. They're obviously getting the touches from the content we create as a team, market updates, but nothing that says Karen and Peter in the same way. Outside, obviously, purchase anniversaries, birthdays, those sort of stuff, right? But as far as our general marketing goes, they get more touches, but not specific to them and their property at this time. Obviously, something else comes along that makes sense to add to it. Definitely, we can do that.
Makes sense. So are you using any other technology or testing anything out to automate more of this process? And maybe could you tell us a little bit more about what you guys are working on in Realvolve to automate the process more?
Realvolve is just, and I'm not paid to say it or anything like that. And I'm here because I love the product. It's in that workflow, in the non-linear. There is nothing we do. We just told you, there's nothing. It's not like we send out a CMA, they respond a month later, then this, then this, then this, then that. We send out a CMA, they click, they don't click, we need to follow up. They opened up 3 months later, they requested this information, they wanted this. That it's building out that system. And the nice thing about our business and the platforms that we try to work with is we want to make adjustments when we know that this works or this doesn't work. If there was a better subject line than their address, we would change it. We will A/B test them to death. We'll figure out what's best. And so when we're working through these workflows and we're building them out, which is such an amazing, exciting process, and we're looking at each other, we're like, I think this is what we should be doing, but let's sit down, 2 months from now and figure out what, are we getting the response we want? Let's try it this way. Maybe we duplicate the same workflow and make the one change and send them out to half these people get this workflow, half these people get this workflow, and figure out which one, is working better or getting the better response or filling out our real satisfied surveys. Is this email doing better than this email? Is it better include a video or not include a video? That workflow, that evolution is ongoing, will be forever. And so I love that platform to be able to do that and building it in. You asked me a question, how do you know which one's got it and not got it? And how are you staggering it? It's pretty easy when you start to tag the people that you've sent out to. So, okay, who doesn't have this tag? Let's add 7 more into our CMAs that go out, tag them now, and then start the workflow for their 6-month notification. Grab another 7 clients that are under ask Realvolve to say, hey, Realvolve, send me more primary agent Michael clients that have not received this tag. Serves up 7 more. I tag them. I start a workflow. 6 months, they're done. And eventually you get to the bottom and you're done. And you're going to have to add new people to that workflow as you grow and as you put more people in your database. But that's the magical part. No one's going to get missed. And right now, I'm relying on my head to look at that trigger and go, oh, that was sent out. Now I'm thinking, oh, do we need to put that in? Another thing I just thought about was sending out those CMAs. Dale, this is Realvolve. I guess I could CC their account in Realvolve and would automatically put that attachment into their file in their Realvolve account without touching anything. That was one of the things that blew my mind. If you guys are Realvolve customers and you don't know this, every client, every transaction, and every property has their own little email address. If you CC that email address, it will pull any attachments out of that email and put them into their files. So you can send an email of all your contracts or your CMAs, and it will automatically pull them out, the PDFs, and put it into their, it just blows my mind. So that's another thing we should be doing. It would automatically put their CMA in there. We would get a copy of the email. We knew when it went out. I just thought of that. We need to do that. That's a workflow thing.
Yeah, no, it'll put the email on their contact. So you can click on the email from their contact, and the attachment would be in the files section in Realvolve as well. Yeah, for that contact. See, there you go.
See, like, look at the smile on my face. This is organic. That means that I'm like, oh, that's awesome. So now I send a CMA out, and immediately Jordan and Trish have access to that CMA. If I'm out of town and that trigger happens, they know exactly what I sent them. Oh man, stuff like that's magical.
Yep. And so just so everybody knows, I mean, if you don't have a CMA tool that you like or anything like that, we Realvolve and Firepoint are actually the same company, two different products, and we've got a home valuation reporting tool built in to Firepoint, as well as some other really cool things you can do with lead generation, Facebook lead generation, pay-per-click lead generation. We can manage it for you. We've got some really cool lead follow-up tools, help you get more people into your pipeline. And then Realvolve is really good, like Michael's talking about, at the past client follow-up, workflows, automation, things like that. So we've got lots of people that use both, and some people that just use Firepoint because they're more focused on generating more leads right now. And some people are just using Realvolve, like Michael, you and your team, just using Realvolve because you're more focused on past clients, loving on your past clients, and then getting that really smart automation with the workflows set up in your business. So what other questions do we have? I mean, we're right at time here. What other questions do we have for Michael before we wrap up here? And I have a couple other questions that I can throw your way.
Sure.
What are some of the mistakes that agents make with CMAs, or some of the things that you guys have learned that you don't do anymore that you've tried out before?
Well, I think, I think one of the things, and if Bjorn watches this back, he'll laugh. I have this need to really communicate and like get into the details and take, what should be a 2-minute and 30-second or 3-minute video evaluation just to get it in front of them. I feel the need to like over explain things, add as much value as I possibly can. And he's always in the back of my head going, no one's going to watch a 12-minute video about their property. They're going to call you. Don't give them all the information. That's what you sit down in front of them for. So I think sometimes we feel like the need to go too detailed. Post, here's an evaluation. As you can see, the prices are from $625 to $650, and things are moving fairly quick with that, at 108% of the value. Down below, you're going to find a link to a CMA that goes through it in detail. If you've got any questions or anything for me, let me know. It could be that quick, and I get more into as you can see, this one's 1,450 square feet, and yours is 1,360 square feet, but yours backs onto the green belt, and this one doesn't. I think I can get too into it or too detailed. And when we're just trying to put out the triggers, maybe that's not best, or it isn't best. And I fight that all the time. As you guys can tell, I want to talk and explain and say the same point twice or 3 times as my wife just goes. So I constantly work at keeping it brief, just giving them information, giving the value, and getting out. And there's something about their time is precious too. Just give them what they need and get out of the way. So that's a problem with me.
So do you, Andrew had a question. Is there marketing or shameless self-promotion of yourself or about your team when you're sending out these unsolicited CMAs?
Does there have to be? Like, you just called a past client, or you just emailed a past client and said, hey, Tom and Betty, I hope you and Marty and your kids, Marty and James, and your dog, Fufu, are doing well. We haven't seen you for a while. Here's a valuation of your property. If you need anything from us, or you know anyone who needs anything, let us know. I don't think especially to the people that if you've already helped buy or sell, you were able to articulate your value. They were able to understand your value to a point where they hired you. You successfully helped them buy or sell a piece of real estate. So you proved your value. And now you're just maintaining a relationship. There's no salesmanship that needs to be done anyway. You've already proven it. You've done it. And so just adding their value and saying hi to them and maintaining that relationship. If every single time my dentist, every single time I bumped him at the baseball field, he goes, remember, I'm a dentist. I'd be like, I know, dude, you're my dentist. To me, that would be so, is that all you are to me? It's all I am to you is a transaction. Like that's how we don't do that. That's just not the way we're built. I guess some people are, especially with our past clients. Doesn't need to be said once a year. Say it once a year. Say it once a year. I think you do. And we've built this into our Realvolve points. You earn the right to ask for business. You can ask for business after you've earned the right to ask for business. So every 8th email you say, hey, do you guys know someone? If every email ended that way, then that would be the only reason why you're sending the email in the first place is to say that. If you're just adding value, saying happy birthday, sending out an email, and then once a year say, hey, do you know somebody? Or remember, then they understand that you aren't just the next source of income. I just think there's so much value in earning the right to ask for business that I don't think CTAs are necessary at every point. I think it's pretty understandable in the law of reciprocity world. And maybe people vary, your mileage might vary on how you build your business, but our clients love us and we love them. And that's more than enough for them to send us their friends and family members.
Love it. Any other questions before we wrap up here? There's a couple of questions about HomeBot CMAs. Do you have any opinion about HomeBot versus Cloud CMA? I'm assuming.
Never heard of it.
Yeah,
I'm Canadian, so Cloud CMA is built into our board. So every agent in our board has Cloud CMA. We also have access to Autoprop, which I believe is a British Columbian business. I prefer Cloud CMA over Autoprop, but HomeBot I've never heard of before, so it might be an American thing or something we haven't looked into yet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that the CMA tool is. I don't think this process isn't heavily dependent on which CMA tool you're using. What Michael's doing, I would say, relies heavily on BombBomb for those notifications that he gets when people open the email, watch the video, and click the link to the CMA. And then, of course, Realvolve for sorting his list and automatically notifying him and his team every week which people to focus on and when to send out the CMAs. Otherwise, I don't know that there's anything technology dependent.
Yeah, no. And once again, Jimmy Burgess will probably do it different than me. He has the same success rate. It's not about you. It's not about your marketplace. It's not about your technology. Can I answer Cecilia's question? Cecilia asked Dale, what do you charge? If you're asking about Realvolve, not enough. That's just so you know the value that Jordan, Trish, and I have gotten out of it. Don't tell Dave, but I said not enough. Not enough.
Yeah, so it just totally depends. I mean, it depends on if you're a single agent, depends on if you want help setting it up, depends on if you want to go through one of our courses, depends on if you want a phone number and a dialer and workflows, and we have lots of different options. So it totally depends, Cecilia. So reach out to us or answer our email, reply to the emails that you're getting from us, and we can give you. I'm not trying to hide, but we'll give you a better answer. Most people are paying less than $100 a month, a lot less than $100 a month. So it just totally depends on what you're wanting to do.
And I can't.
If you have a couple of people on the team, it's half that.
Yeah, and I can't imagine not doing it. And can do a whole thing on it. But Navigator is such like the idea of knowing all these things and all these tools. It's like and figuring out how they all work together. And there's thought between all of it. Like, I mean, we do Navigator every second week now with the team, and there'll be 2 or 3 times every hour with Jana, and they're recorded, where we just start giggling to ourselves when we hear something. We can do what? And we write that down. So Navigator's just absolutely amazing.
So, and somebody asked, do you have to have BombBomb to do this? I would say no, but yes, you kind of do. I mean, you're gonna make it so much harder on yourself if you try to do this without BombBomb. What are your thoughts, Michael?
You can do it a different way, but it's not about sending the video. It's not about sending the CMA. It's having the triggers associated with those two activities. So could you send them a YouTube link? Absolutely. Will it have an animated GIF that shows their name on the screen? No. Will it automatically play in their email? No. Will you get notified when they open it up? No. Will you know that they watched 99% of it? No. So if you can find another platform that does those things, and it might be out there, but it's about the triggers. It's about knowing 3 months later that this happened. It's not about delivering them the information. It's about them revisiting the information that is the serendipitous magic of it all. It's all magical. I know when a client's about to call me. I have a home inspection here in 29 minutes at a property right around the corner. A past client of mine in Fort Langley opened up an old email that I sent him, and then he called 5 minutes later. And in the meantime, I said to Trish, hey, do you remember that property we sold in Fort Langley? They just opened up an email from like 2 years ago, and the phone rang, and then he said to me, hey, Michael, it's Dean. I'm like, hey, Dean, how are you? He goes, can you help my brother Sean buy an apartment in Walnut Grove? Absolutely. I knew that was good. I knew the phone was about to ring. And so when you have those things out there, there's nothing I could have done in the meantime. But if they'd opened that up and nothing had happened, even though I hadn't sent them a CMA, I would have reached out to them that night or the following day and just said, hey, it's been a while since we chatted. How's family? How's things going? Because they're thinking about you. They're thinking about you. So that happens all the time. It's happened twice more since we've been on the webinar. So there's people I need to reach out to.
Love it. So there's still more questions coming in.
Yeah.
We got to wrap it up here. So maybe last couple of questions. I know you have to run here soon.
Yeah, it's 5 minutes away. I'll be all right.
All right. So since I don't have closed transactions, a new realtor, I don't have closed transactions from buyers yet. Is this still a good avenue to get listings?
Absolutely. Write down every single person you know, every friend's home, every friend. Hey, Mary, I just want to let you know that I'm now a licensed realtor. And I thought it'd be a fun thing as we go through learning how to do evaluations and sending them out, that I'm sending out evaluations to all my friends and family. So down below, you're going to find an evaluation on your home about where we are in the current market. Absolutely. There's any of your friends and family, just to be in front of them, to give them an excuse to tell them you're a realtor and then add value. They don't have to be your past client. They don't have to be your past client. And even say to them, I love when people bring themselves on the journey of real estate. Like if I moved from Vancouver and I moved to Vernon and I started my real estate career there, I would start by telling the story that I'm new to Vernon and help me discover all the cool places to live here and where's the best picnic spot. I would lean into my story, lean into the fact that you just got your real estate license. I've got some listings out there, things are going well, but I really want to get out there and send evaluations to a bunch of people so that I can get to know the real estate market in all different price ranges and whatnot. So down below is an evaluation on your property. I hope you find it valuable. 100%. Send them out.
Love it. All right. Well, hey, if anybody has any other follow-up questions, and Pamela, I see your question there. I'm going to screen cap this so that I can get back to you. Anybody has any other questions, feel free to send them into, info@realvolve.com. You can do dale.warner at realvolve.com, sales@realvolve.com. Shoot us an email. Go to our homepage at realvolve.com and start a free trial if you want to check it out. Like I said at the beginning, we're going to be putting together a checklist that you can use in Realvolve of Michael's process, and we're going to send that out in a follow-up email, so stay tuned for that follow-up coming. Thanks again, Michael. Last comments, final comments.
One last thing. If anybody has any questions for me, you can track me down. You can find me on Facebook Messenger, send me a message. I'd be happy to add value in any way I possibly can. And if you guys want to pick my brain about how we're using Realvolve, because if you call Realvolve, they're going to say how awesome they are because they are awesome, but it also sometimes sounds like that's like, well, they're supposed to say that because that's what they do. Anyone wants to pick my brain about Realvolve, how much our team's loving it, how we're utilizing it, anybody wants a sounding board. I do not get paid a dime if you guys sign up for Realvolve. I do not get paid a dime if you sign up for BombBomb. Do I love these products? Absolutely. Can I imagine my business without them? No. So if you've got questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Thanks again, Michael, and thanks for everybody for joining us. We will see you on the next one. Bye for now.
See you guys. Thank you.